World Lore.
Hello viewers, it's me again, your host Emma Watson, and you are watching Real World Lore. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. Please enjoy this digital cake. Before I get into this video, I would really appreciate it if you would click the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, please comment your thoughts about this video. It really helps boost the channel within the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so very much for watching, we really appreciate it. The history of Nintendo. Nintendo is a multinational video game company that was founded in Japan in 1889. Before producing video game consoles, Nintendo was primarily a manufacturer of playing cards, specifically Hanafuda cards, in English flower cards, which is a traditional Japanese card game. Nintendo began producing playing cards in the late 19th century, and continued to do so for several decades. The company later expanded into other businesses, including a taxi service, a food company, and even a hotel. However, none of these ventures were particularly successful, and Nintendo eventually returned to producing playing cards. In the 1960s, Nintendo set up a taxi company called Daya in an attempt to experiment in other areas of business, after a massive drop in card game sales. However, they were forced to sell the company as it wasn't profitable. Problems with labor unions thwarted hopes of becoming the 1960s incarnation of Uber. This company still exists and is currently operated by Daya Transportation Company in Japan. In what must surely be the company's least celebrated business enterprise, Nintendo set up a love hotel. Clients didn't tend to get much in the way of rest, let alone sleep. Rooms were available to rent by the hour, with patrons typically accompanied by guests of the financially compensated variety. For decades now, there has been talk of Nintendo running love hotels back in the day. As you know, Nintendo tried their hand at a bunch of businesses over the years, and love hotels was one of their endeavors. It's something that really wasn't ever questioned, but thankfully one person has. And it seems this love hotel situation might be nothing more than myth. Is this a case of internet lore becoming accepted as fact? Or has Nintendo just gone through extreme lengths to scrub this seedy part of their history from history? If you are interested in the dark side of Nintendo, we have made a video named The Nintendo They've Tried to Forget: Gambling, Gangsters, and Love Hotels. It wasn't until the 1970s that the company began to experiment with electronic games. They developed a series of arcade games such as EVR Race and Wild Gunman. The company's first foray into the home console video game market was in 1975 with the release of the Magnavox Odyssey, which was licensed by Nintendo for release in Japan. In 1975, they released their own branded first home console named Color TV game, which was a series of Pong-like consoles. This was followed by the release of several other consoles in the 1970s and 1980s, including the Game & Watch and the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. The NES was particularly successful and helped to revive the video game industry after the video game crash of 1983. The Nintendo Entertainment System NES in 1983, which marked the beginning of the company's domination in the video game industry. The Nintendo Color TV game is a series of home Pong consoles produced by Nintendo. It was released in 1977 in Japan, and it was a series of 5 different dedicated consoles, each with its own variation of the classic Pong game. The consoles were designed to be simple and easy to use, with minimal setup required. They were also relatively inexpensive, making them an accessible option for many families. The Color TV game series were the first home video game console developed by Nintendo, and they were only released in Japan. They were not as successful as the later consoles, such as the Nintendo Entertainment System NES, but they did lay the foundation for the company's entry into the home console market. The Game & Watch was a line of handheld electronic games produced by Nintendo from 1980 to 1991. Each Game & Watch features a single game that can be played on an LCD screen, along with a clock and an alarm. The games were designed by Gunpei Yokoi, who later went on to create the Game Boy. Game & Watch devices were portable and were powered by a small internal battery. They were very popular during the early 1980s, and Nintendo released more than 60 different Game & Watch titles. Some of the more popular titles include Super Mario Bros., Donkey Kong and Zelda. The Nintendo Entertainment System NES is a home video game console that was developed and produced by Nintendo. It was released in Japan in 1983, and later in North America and Europe in 1985. The NES was a hugely popular console, and is credited with revitalizing the video game industry. After the video game crash of 1983, it featured 8-bit graphics and a variety of controllers, including the classic NES controller with its distinctive shape. The NES was home to many classic games, such as Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Mega Man, and Castlevania. The console was supported by a wide range of third-party developers and publishers, which helped to expand the library of available games. The NES was succeeded by the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, in 1990. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System (SNES) is a 16-bit home video game console developed and produced by Nintendo. It was released in 1990 and was the successor to the Nintendo Entertainment System (NES). The SNES featured improved graphics and sound capabilities compared to the NES, and was home to many critically acclaimed and popular games, such as Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Final Fantasy III, and Super Mario RPG. The SNES also introduced the now iconic gamepad controller that featured 4 action buttons and a directional pad. The SNES was also known for its support of Mode 7, a technique that allows for rotation and scaling of backgrounds, which was used in several games, such as F-Zero and Mario Kart. The SNES was eventually succeeded by the Nintendo 64 in 1996. In 1995, Nintendo released the Virtual Boy. It is a 32-bit tabletop portable video game console developed and manufactured by Nintendo. It was marketed as the first console capable of displaying true 3D graphics. The console featured a red monochrome display that used a parallax effect to create the illusion of depth, and it required the player to look into the eyepiece to play. The console also had built-in speakers and a control pad. The Virtual Boy was not successful, and it was not well received by critics and consumers. The console was criticized for its monochrome display, which caused eye strain and headaches, as well as its limited library of games. Its design also limited its portability, as it was meant to be used on a table and not to be taken on the go. Due to its poor performance, the Virtual Boy was discontinued just a year after its release, and it is considered to be one of the biggest commercial failures in the history of video game consoles. The Nintendo 64 is a 64-bit home video game console developed and produced by Nintendo. It was released in 1996 and was the first console to feature true 3D graphics. The N64 was known for its advanced graphics and its innovative controller, which featured an analog stick, a D-pad, and several buttons. The console was home to many popular and critically acclaimed games, such as Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, GoldenEye 007, and Mario Kart 64. The N64 also had the capability of 4 players gaming at once, with the use of additional controller ports, and the expansion pack, an add-on which increased the console's memory. The N64 was eventually succeeded by the Nintendo GameCube in 2001. However, it was eventually surpassed in sales by its main rival, the Sony PlayStation. The Game Boy is a handheld game console first released in 1989, and it is considered to be the first successful handheld console. The console features a monochrome screen and a directional pad, and a set of buttons for controlling the games. It uses cartridges as storage medium, which can be easily swapped out to play different games. The Game Boy was powered by 4 AA batteries, or an AC adapter, and it was designed to be portable and durable. It was also backwards compatible with games from the Game & Watch series. The Game Boy was a huge success, and it sold over 118 million units worldwide. It was followed by several other versions, including the Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. The Nintendo GameCube is a 6th-generation home video game console developed and produced by Nintendo. It was released in 2001 and was the successor to the Nintendo 64. The GameCube featured a compact design and used mini discs as its primary storage medium. It also featured a handle on the back, which made it easy to carry and transport. The GameCube was home to many popular and critically acclaimed games, such as Super Smash Bros., Melee, Mario Kart, Double Dash, Metroid Prime, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, and Animal Crossing. It also had the capability of 4 players gaming at once, with the use of additional controller ports. The GameCube was also the first Nintendo console to feature online gaming through a broadband or modem adapter. It was eventually succeeded by the Wii in 2006. Despite having a strong lineup of games, the console was not as successful as its competitors, the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. In 2004, the Nintendo DS, short for dual screen, was first released. It is a handheld game console developed and manufactured by Nintendo. It was the first handheld console to feature dual screens, with one being a touchscreen. The console also features a built-in microphone and wireless connectivity, which allows players to connect with other players or to access the internet. It has a clamshell design, with the upper screen being the main display and the lower screen being the touchscreen. The console has a stylus that is used to interact with the touchscreen. The Nintendo DS is also backwards compatible with Game Boy Advance games, making it a versatile device for both new and old games. The Nintendo DS was very popular upon its release, and it went on to become one of the best-selling video game consoles of all time. It sold over 154 million units worldwide. It was succeeded by the Nintendo 3DS, which introduced 3D capabilities. In 2006, Nintendo released the Wii, which was a revolutionary console that featured motion-sensing controllers. The console was a huge success and sold over 100 million units worldwide. It was particularly popular with casual gamers and non-gamers, and helped to expand the video game market. The Wii was also backward compatible with most Nintendo GameCube games, and featured a built-in SD card slot, which allows players to download and save games and additional content. The console was home to many popular and critically acclaimed games, such as Wii Sports, Super Smash Bros., Brawl, Mario Kart Wii, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, and Wii Fit. The Wii was also the first Nintendo console to feature online gaming through a built-in wireless network. It was succeeded by the Wii U in 2012. In 2011, Nintendo released the Nintendo 3DS. It is the successor to the Nintendo DS. It was the company's first portable console to display 3D visuals, without the need for special glasses, using a technique called autostereoscopy. It also featured a clamshell design, dual screens, and a touch screen on the bottom display. The 3DS also had a built-in motion sensor and a Street Pass feature that allows players to exchange game data wirelessly with other 3DS users they pass by. The console was home to many popular and critically acclaimed games, such as Super Mario 3D Land, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time 3D, Mario Kart 7, Animal Crossing, New Leaf, and Fire Emblem Awakening. The console was well received and had a strong lineup of games, but it struggled to compete with the increasing popularity of smartphones and tablets as gaming devices. In 2012, Nintendo released the Wii U, which was the company's first console for its unique gamepad controller, which features a built-in touchscreen, motion sensors, and a camera. The gamepad can be used as a second screen for certain games, and can also be used to play games independently of the TV. The Wii U was also the first Nintendo console to support high-definition graphics. The console was home to many popular and critically acclaimed games, such as Super Mario 3D World, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon, and Super Mario Maker. The console was not as successful as the Wii and struggled to compete with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. In 2016, Nintendo released the Nintendo Switch, which is a hybrid console that can be used as a home console connected to a television or as a portable device that can be taken on the go. The console features detachable controllers called Joy-Con, and it allows players to play their favorite games both at home and on the go. The console has been a huge success, with strong sales and a strong lineup of games, including the critically acclaimed The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey. It has been very successful in the market, and has a wide variety of games available for it. In addition to its consoles, Nintendo is also known for its strong lineup of first-party franchises, such as Mario, Zelda, and Pokémon, as well as its iconic characters, such as Mario, Link, and Pikachu. These franchises and characters have become cultural icons, and have helped to cement Nintendo's place in the video game industry. Nintendo is also known for its commitment to innovation and experimentation. The company has always been willing to take risks and try new things, whether it's with new hardware, new gameplay mechanics, or new franchises. This has helped to keep the company relevant and has allowed it to remain at the forefront of the video game industry. Nintendo has a long and storied history in the video game industry and has been responsible for many of the most iconic franchises and characters in gaming. The company's consoles and games have been responsible for introducing millions of people to the world of video games and have helped to make gaming a mainstream form of entertainment. Nintendo's commitment to innovation and experimentation has helped it to remain at the forefront of the video game industry and cement its place as one of the most important and influential companies in the gaming world. This video history of Nintendo was written, edited, and produced by Jeremy Gaines. The narrator is, that's right, me, Emma Watson. And again, I would really appreciate it if you would click the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, please comment your thoughts about this video. It really helps boost the channel within the YouTube algorithm. Real World Lore uploads new videos weekly, so do not forget to check the bell icon so you get notified when new videos are released. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.